You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
Hey, welcome back to the final video of this series. Here we will talk about security. That is the top priority of any cloud environment. We will also cover how Azure helps protect your data and resources, how identity actually works in Azure, and how compliance fits into the picture. So let's get started. Well, Azure provides built-in security features designed to protect your resources. But cloud security is, again, a shared responsibility. Here, Microsoft secures the cloud infrastructure, and you, as a customer, secure what you put in the cloud. This means Microsoft handles physical data center security, network security, and hardware security, at the hardware level at least, while you are responsible for managing identities, the access, and protecting your application and data. Which means, in simple words, Azure will make sure to give you a secure environment. But if you are putting your identities over there with password as 1234, and then that account gets hacked, well, that responsibility falls on you because the password was too weak. It was just an example, though. So remember from this point, the security in Azure cloud infrastructure is a shared responsibility. Now, at the heart of Azure security is Azure Entra ID. It used to be called Azure AD, that is Azure Active Directory, but the name is now changed. Now, what is it? Well, it's Microsoft Cloud Identity and Access Management Solution, IAM solution. Here, Entra ID manage user identities and access to the resources. Well, not only in Azure, but it can also work for the platforms such as Microsoft 365, and also thousands of other SaaS applications if they are registered with Entra ID. Plus, you can also use it in your on-premises environment if you are going for hybrid connectivity. So Entra ID is quite a powerful tool. Well, controlling who can do what they want, right? So it's about AAA, authentication, authorization, and auditing. So the authentication part is done by, let's say, Entra ID. What about authorization? Well, here, a simple service comes in, that is RBAC. That stands for Role-Based Access Control. RBAC is used to assign permission to the user. Here, RBAC lets you grant users or group of users with a permission with which they can access the resource. If you want them to have, let's say, read access over your environment, then you can give them reader role, which is in RBAC architecture. But if you want them to contribute and change your environment, well, in that case, you can give them contributor role. Never give owner role to a random person. You only use owner role or role if you, let's say, are quitting that company and someone else will take over, or let's say you're passing on your responsibility to someone else. Plus, there are many more roles in RBAC architecture, not just contributor, reader, and owner. There are hundreds of roles. Now, security does not stop at just assigning roles to someone. Here, Entra ID also supports strong authentication methods to verify if the user is legit. Some methods are MFA, that stands for multi-factor authentication, which adds a second layer beyond the password, such as a phone application notification or a code you received via text message or email. And on top of it, you can also add Conditional Access Policy, which allows you to set rules like requiring MFA only when users sign in from an unknown location or from a risky device. Well, you can set conditions, simply said. If the user meets the condition, access will be granted. If the user is not meeting the condition properly, then further action will be taken. Those further action can be the user need to reset the password or go with MFA, or the user access will be blocked entirely. It all depends on the condition you set. Now, Azure also complies with numerous international standards like ISO 27001, SOC 1 or SOC 2, from the European side, GDPR, and even from American side, it follows the HIPAA protocols. Well, this helps organizations to meet regulatory requirements of the government. Here, Microsoft's Trust Center offers transparency on data privacy, security control, and compliance certification. Remember, while Microsoft handles compliance of the cloud, but the customers are also responsible for compliance within their ecosystem or their workloads. This is called the shared responsibility model. Both parties have to meet compliance. All right, now let's go to our Azure portal and explore some tools which enhances the security posture of your organization. All right, now let's discuss some of the security services or features Azure offer to enhance your environmental security posture. Now let's start with policy. We know that Microsoft Azure makes sure to follow all the compliance regulation of government all over the world, whether it is HIPAA or GDPR. It doesn't matter, they have to follow it to create trust among all the organization out there. But as it is a shared responsibility, you also have to create a compliance-driven environment. And to enhance the compliance of your environment, the first thing you will do is create proper policies, which your organization have to follow. So you come to policies and click on definition. As you can see, there are so many default policies which you can pick and choose. And if you want to filter it, you can also do it here. All right, how about this one? Audit resource location matches. Or there are many more location-based policies as well. If you want to, let's say, pick one policy, you just click it, and then you basically assign it to a specific level. You can assign it to the subscription, then it will inherit itself to all the resource group in that subscription and even the resources. Or you can also pick a resource group if you want. So with the help of policies, you keep a check on your environment and see what is non-compliant and what is actually compliant. As you can see, I already have a policy up, allowed resources deployment region, which means only a specific resource, a specific region will be allowed to deploy a resource. Then what about MFA? Well, to configure MFA, you can go to Microsoft Entra ID, then click on Manage, then go to Users, and on top, if you go to this menu button, you can go to Per User MFA. This is where you can pick and choose which user will use MFA and which might not. So let's say I search myself, and here you can enable MFA. Once it is enabled, I have to follow it, and I also have to register for it. And here you can change your MFA settings, required selected user to provide contact methods. Again, let's say you want to refresh all the metadata of every user, and you want them to provide the information again. Provide the phone number again, email ID again, and you can select this option. Plus, delete all existing app passwords generated by the user. If you want to refresh your environment and delete all the password generated by the user, you can select this option. Or restore multi-factor authentication on all remembered devices. You can also restore it. Now, if you search for MFA, you can also go to Entra ID, go all the way down to Security, and Manage. Over here, you can also manage your multi-factor authentication settings. Well, remember this tab, Security. You have all your services over here to secure your environment. And this is the same place you will get your conditional access. This is where you create your conditions, you create your policies. So if you click on New Policy, you can name your condition, then you can apply this condition to one person or a group of users, or you can say all users. But remember, be very careful, because if you select all user, you may lock yourself out if you don't meet the condition. Then you set up the target resource. Let's say you want to set conditional access on the whole Azure environment. Then you can say all resources. Or what if you just want to apply condition on a selected resource like Office 365, let's say, or maybe AVD, Azure Virtual Desktop. Yeah, which is a service. You can apply that. Then you can also set up some included safe networks and also exclude some risky networks. It all depends like what networks you consider safe and what networks you consider risky. Plus, you can apply conditions here. But remember, to apply condition, as you can see, for me it is grayed out, you need a P1 or P2 license for Entra ID. You need to pay for advanced security. And once you set up the condition, at the end, you select, do you want to turn on the policy or off, or you just want to see the reports only, and then you create it. Once created, the conditional access policy will be active, and all the users who meet the condition will not feel any change. But if they are not meeting the condition, then they will see the result. They might be blocked, or they might have to provide multi-factor to get in. Now, the most important part, that is RBAC, which starts from right management group to subscription level to resource group to the resource. You can configure RBAC very much granularly. You can pinpoint a resource if you want, or you can give access to the whole subscription. So let's say I have some resources. Let's see. No, I don't have any resources here, but I can create resources inside this resource group. And if I click on the resource, I will see this option called access control. Right now, it is at resource group level. So if I click here on resource group level, then I can go to add role assignment. And here I can pick and choose what role I want to assign and whom I want to assign it to. Let's say I want to make someone the contributor. This person will be able to do everything, but that person cannot play around with RBAC. So if I create a contributor role and give it to someone, that someone will be able to create, delete, manage the environment, but that person cannot make another person the owner. He cannot play with RBAC. So you select your role, click Next, add your member here, select the member. Like this, and select and click Next and review and assign. And that's it. Now this user have contributor role over this resource group. So if there are any resources inside this resource group, the user can have contributor access over those resources too. So this is how you create your RBAC environment. If you go to your subscription level, I will go to my subscription, let's say. You can give permission at your subscription level too. This will make sure that the user have privilege over all the resource group inside this subscription. So I hope RBAC is clear, and I would like you to test simple environment. Use Azure free subscription for that. Well, this video wraps up the whole series on Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing Fundamentals. Well, if this series helped you to gain the foundational knowledge on Azure environment, and you are now able to use the Azure portal at least, or get started with it, then make sure to subscribe to our channel and give us like on all our videos. Plus, if you have any question or suggestion for new series, put that in the comment section. I will see you in the next series. Until then, take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.